Namaste everyone, I am Chloe. Welcome to today's yoga class. It's going to be the Capricorn lunar full moon flow. I know that the Capricorn full moon has already been, but nonetheless I'm going to be filming this class. It's from the Spirit Daughter workbook, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, so we're just going to get straight into it. So if you guys want to come to the top of your mats, maybe just have a little shake off of whatever has come up already today, whatever time of day that you're doing this. I would say this sequence, it's quite I'd say it's quite leg heavy, leg strengthening. Okay. Just taking a few deep breaths in mountain pose to get ourselves grounded. So mountain pose, feet are hip distance apart. Knees over ankles, ankles over knees. Sorry, knees over ankles, hips over knees. Shoulders over hips. Palms are facing outwards, chin tucked slightly under. Close down the outer eyes and just take the attention inwards. Noticing whatever you notice. If you're feeling ungrounded with your eyes closed, just open them up and take a look down at your feet, pick up your toes and spread them and then place them back down. Just give yourself a good solid base. A few more deep breaths here. Taking that breath deep into the belly. Now inhale, raise the arms on up and look up towards the sky. And exhale, fold into a forward bend. You might want to, I'm currently pregnant, so I just need to widen my stance a little bit to allow for the extra little bumpage. And I'm going to start off in a ragdoll kind of position, so keep the knees nice and bent as it's the first forward fold of the day. You can kind of like move into your legs here, so straightening and bending one at a time. And then once you've found your sweet spot with your legs, just take your hands and grab opposite elbow with each of your hands. Fully allowing your head to drop down towards Mother Earth. Maybe once again here, just bringing in a little bit of movement, going from side to side, getting in to the side body a little bit, giving it a little bit of a stretch. Allowing your head to hang heavy and grabbing your elbows will also encourage your upper back to just release. And then if you've got your legs bent and your kind of torso resting, that's a really nice little subtle stretch for the lower back as well. And if you want to come up into a halfway lift, so straighten those legs as much as they'll go this morning and place your hands or fingertips on the mat. So we're in our halfway lift pose, and then step on back into a downward dog. So taking right leg back and the left leg back. And then sending those hips up towards the sky. Allowing the heels to just drop down as far as they will go. It's absolutely okay if your knees are bent here. What's more important is your back is nice and straight. And then we want to inhale our right leg up high behind us and step it through so it's in between our hands. Now we're going to come into half moon pose. So what we want to do, take an inhale, and then on an exhale, pop up onto that right foot. We want to take our right hand slightly off towards the right, at kind of like a 45-degree angle from our foot, and then with our left hip we want to stack that on top of our right and slowly start to open up. So maybe taking that left hand and dragging it up across the chest and towards the sky. Drishti point is either down at your right big toe, or if you're balanced and neck allows it, you can look up towards your left hand. And so back left leg is strong, it's engaged, the toes are flexing back towards the knee. Almost like we've got our two panes of glass either side of us again in this pose. And then on an exhale, if you are looking up, just look down towards your mat. Bring your left hand down to frame that back foot, and then just step that left back foot back towards the back of the mat. Pick up your right foot and take that back also, so you're in a plank pose now. Now come down through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, and then flip over into upward dog, and then come back into downward dog on your exhale, and then we'll take half moon pose on the other side. So we want to lift up our left leg behind us, stepping it through in between our hands, taking an inhale and then the exhale, popping up onto that left leg. Okay, it's okay once again if your leg is slightly bent in this position. Taking that left hand out at a 45-degree angle so that you are got some stability, and then start to open up that right hip, stacking it on top of the left hip, flexing those toes back towards the knee, and then slowly reaching that right hand up towards the sky. My balance is slightly more questionable on this side, so I'm going to keep looking down towards my mat. I'm making sure as well that my shoulders are away from my ears in this pose. And breathing. And then when you're ready to come out, on the exhale, just look down towards that front foot. Bring the right hand down onto the mat, and then just step that right foot back so you're in a like low lunge position. And step the left foot back to meet the right. Come down through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Flip over into upward dog or cobra, high lift cobra, and then exhale back into downward dog. Feel free to take your dog for a little walk, so bending and straightening each leg, noticing how your hips and hamstrings now feel. After our first few poses of the day, and then come back into stillness in your downward dog. On an inhale, lift your right leg up behind you, step it through in between your hands. We're going to come into warrior one. So what I want you to do with your back left foot is bring it in, maybe half a step, and then bring the entire sole of your foot down onto the mat at a 45-degree angle. So your left foot and your right foot are on different train tracks. Okay. And then on an inhale, raise the arms up so our front right leg is bent, our left leg is straight out to the side behind us, our hips are facing forwards towards the top of our mat, arms up overhead, shoulders down away from the ears, and then if the neck allows, you can look up towards the sky in between your hands here. And this pose, be sure to keep your mula bandha engaged so we're not doing a lower back bend here. So make sure that you're tucking in your tailbone. So if that means you need to shorten your stance, absolutely please do so. Okay, we're going to move into warrior two now. So if you just want to heel toe your right foot over so it's kind of in the same line as your back foot, the back left foot, then we're going to turn the back left foot so it's kind of perpendicular to the front foot. Might need to shuffle that back foot back a little bit as well to widen the stance to get into your lunge, and just whatever your body is allowing really this morning. And then breathing into our warrior two position. And then on each exhale, seeing if we can get into our front knee any further. Focus point is your front right hand. And in this pose, what's different about warrior one and warrior two is that in warrior one, our hips are facing forwards towards the front of the mat, and in warrior two, we've opened up our hips. And now coming into a wide angle forward bend, so taking your right foot and flipping it so it's now parallel to your back left foot and straightening the leg. Placing your hands on your hips, taking an inhale, creating length, and then exhale, folding forwards. If you wish here, you can take your hands down towards the mat to give yourself a bit more stability. Inhale, come to a halfway lift in your wide-legged forward fold. Placing your hands now onto your hips. Taking an inhale and then exhale. Coming into an upright position. And then we're going to come back down through our warrior two and warrior one. So taking that right foot, now flipping its orientation. So your front foot is once again dissecting your back foot into our warrior two position. Taking a few breaths here, and then heel toe your right foot over to the right side of your mat. Bringing your left foot in slightly, and then turning your hips so they are now facing the front of your mat. Arms back up into our warrior one positioning. Maybe you've noticed you've opened up a little bit and you can actually lunge more into that front leg, giving yourself more of a stretch in the front hip and psoas on the left side. And then on the exhale, bring your hands down to your mat. Wiggle that left foot back. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Come down through knees, chest, chin, or a chaturanga. Up through upward dog, cobra, or high lift cobra. And then once again, exhaling back down into our downward dog. And we're going to do the same sequence on the other side. So lifting that left leg up behind you, stepping it in between the hands, and then coming into our warrior one. So taking that right leg, that right foot, right leg, bringing it in maybe half a step and putting the whole sole of the foot down on the floor at a 45-degree angle. And once you've got your nice solid foot base, and the front and left knee bent, come up into our warrior one position with the arms added also. What also creates stability in this position is pushing down through that blade edge of the back foot. Making sure that we're not dumping into our lower spine. So if that means you need a shorter stance, please do so. And each side of the body will be different as well. Okay, heel toe, your left foot across so it's more on the same train track as your right foot. And then we want to open up into our warrior two. So heel toeing that right foot back a little bit so you're widening your stance. Opening those hips out to the side of your mat, and then bending into that front leg, arms nice and strong and engaged, looking forward at the front left hand, keeping those shoulders down away from the ears also. And then coming into our wide leg forward fold. So straightening your front left leg and then turning the foot so that it's parallel to the back right foot. Hands onto hips once again. Inhale, creating length in the spine, and then exhale, folding forward from the hips. Legs nice and straight, nice and strong. Pressing into the edges, the outer edges, the blade edges of the feet. Once again, you can either bring your hands down to the earth, you can keep them on your hips, and sometimes what's nice as well is you can just take them along the backs of your calves and your thighs and your hamstrings. And just give yourself a little self-touch, a little self-love. And be thanking your muscles for all that they do for us. All day, every day in this physical body. In this third density world that we reside in. Okay, and once you're ready to come up, just come into a halfway lift. Place your hands onto your hips. Take an inhale and then exhale yourself to upright. And then we're going to come once again back through our warrior two. So turning your front foot, the front left foot, back so it is dissecting the back foot. Bending into that front left knee. Maybe you found a little bit more space in this hip. And then heel toeing that left foot over to the left side of your mat in a different train track. And then I'm going to heel toe my right foot in, so my stance stance is shorter, and then I'm gonna flip. So my back foot is at a 45-degree angle, squaring my hips towards the front of the mat. And I'm coming out and getting back into the alignment and adjustments of this position. And then taking the hands up overhead. You can also in this pose, if your neck and shoulders allow, so keeping your shoulders down away from the ears, join the palms of the hands together and coming into arrow mudra. So you're clasping all of your fingers apart from the index fingers, shooting up towards farther sky. Taking a few breaths here, and then exhaling, bring the hands back down to the mat. Taking your front left foot back to meet your right foot. Exhaling down through knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra. And then exhale back down into downward dog. Now lifting your right leg up behind you, stepping it through in between your hands, but a shorter stance than our warrior 1 and warrior 2. Drop that back left heel down behind you. And then we're going to come up with straight legs in preparation for our triangle pose. So both your legs are straight, quads are engaged. And we're going to look towards our left hand, and we're going to reach as far as we can reach forwards. And when we can reach forward no more, drop the right hand down towards the earth and the left hand up towards the sky into our triangle pose. Now, you may be up here in triangle pose, you may be on your calf, you may be all the way down at your mat. Each variation is perfect. Just listen to what your body needs. Left hand up towards the sky. If your neck allows, you can look up towards that top left hand. And the more that you engage your quadricep, it tells the hamstrings that they're safe to stretch in this pose. And you should also be getting a nice stretch along the left side body. Try and twist the pinky finger, kind of like internally rotating, and that will help keep your shoulder away from your ear in this position. And then look down towards the right foot. Inhale, bring yourself up. And then we're going to come into extended side angle pose. So we need to widen our stance, so heel toe that back left foot out, and so we're kind of going to come back into a warrior 2 slightly, and then we're going to bring the right elbow so it's resting along the right knee, and the left arm up and over into our extended side angle pose. Taking a few breaths here. And then inhaling to untwist, straightening that front leg. Bring your hands to your hips, and we're going to come back into a wide-legged forward fold. So flip that front foot so it's parallel to the back foot. But we're going to do a chest expansion with this one. So take your hands behind your back, clasp them behind your back. If this isn't accessible, just grab each elbow behind the back. But if you can, try and do the clasp. So clasp the hands, roll the shoulders back, opening up the chest. Inhale, creating length, and exhale to fold forward. Arms come with. and breathe. On an exhale, release the hands towards the mat. And then just walk the hands towards the front of the mat and twist that front right foot so it's being framed by your feet now, so you're back into a low lunge position. Take the right foot back to meet the left, down through knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhale through to up dog or cobra or high cobra. Exhale back to downward dog, and we'll do the same on the other side. So inhale that left leg up high behind you, step it in between your hands. Once again, a shorter stance because we're coming into triangle pose first. So inhale, come up with our straight leg, triangle base legs. Inhale, looking towards that front left hand, and then reach as far forward as we can, and then drop the left hand down towards Mother Earth and the right arm up towards the sky. Once again, in this pose, we're imagining that there's two panes of glass either side of us. If you need a slight bend in this pose, please do so, because we don't want to lock out. This is quite an intense pose on the knees sometimes, and we don't want to do any damage to them. So if you need a little micro bend, please take it. Inhale, come on up and get ourselves ready for our our extended side angle pose. So heel toeing that back foot backwards to widen our stance, so we're kind of in our warrior two legs, and then left forearm comes onto left knee, right arm up and over into our side angle. Taking a few breaths here. And then inhale, untwist, and coming into our wide leg forward fold with chest expansion on this side. So flipping that left foot so it's parallel to the right foot. Clasping the hands behind us, rolling the shoulders back and down. Inhale, creating length, and exhale to fold forwards. Inhale, release the hands to, and once you've released the hands down, just walk them towards the front of the mat, twisting your feet, framing that front left foot, stepping back to meet the right foot back into our high plank position. Lower down through knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhaling through to up dog or cobra. Exhale back into our downward dog. Taking a few breaths here, like noticing just the changes in your body, where it feels tight, where's opened up. And know that at any point you can always come down into a child's pose. If you've lost your breath, if you just need a little break, you can always come back to child's pose. Okay, all right. So stepping forward towards the front of your mat, right foot and left foot, whichever one is more comfortable for you, coming into that halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come up to standing. Then hands into prayer position. We're just going to do a little standing posture now. very appropriate as we are in my little woodsy forest here. We're going to do tree pose. So first of all, if we just want to get ourselves a nice solid base, come back into that mountain pose. Okay, so feet at a kind of comfortable hip distance apart, picking up those toes and spreading them, placing them back down on Mother Earth. And so we'll keep our left foot grounded first. So what you want to do with your right foot is if you just lift it up slightly and then bring the knee out to the right. So kind of like opening up the hip to the side. And you can either, there's many different positions that you can have your foot in for tree pose. So you can either have your toes resting on the mat and your heel resting against your ankle. You can bring it up to the calf. Or you can bring it up towards the inner thigh. Just do not place it on the knee, okay? Because what we want to do in this pose is we're kind of pushing the sole of our foot into our inner leg, and then the inner leg into the sole of the foot. So we don't want that to happen on the knee, as the knees are very delicate. We don't want to injure them. So once you've found your comfortable position, you can bring your hands up to heart center. Find a spot somewhere on the floor that isn't moving. Your drishti point. If your drishti point moves, you're likely to also move. And if you're doing this outside as well, you might have the added balance of uneven ground. And in tree pose as well, if it allows, you can also bring the foot into a half lotus pose. Kind of like a standing half lotus. So yeah, hands can either stay in heart center or you can bring them out. This is excellent as well for strengthening up the foot and the ankle. I think it's when you do a lot of standing postures you realise just how many muscles you didn't realise you had in your foot and ankle, because they all start to hurt. Or not hurt, just let you know that they're there. Okay, and when you're ready to come out, see if you can just slowly and gently come out. Bring that right foot back down towards the earth and maybe give your legs a little kick and a shake. And then we'll tree pose on the other side. So I'm going to come over slightly so I'm in a bit more of a flat bit of earth. Find your nice stable base on your right foot. So picking up those toes, spreading them, and then picking up that left leg and bringing it out to the side. Also trying to keep your hips in so you don't push them out to one side. And then just taking your left foot to where it feels comfortable today. Whether that's on the ankle, on the calf, or on the inner thigh. Finding your focus point. And breathing. And then when you're ready to come out, seeing if you can do it as slowly as much control as possible. And then once you're down, just giving yourself a little shake. Okay, so coming back to the top of the mat. Inhaling, raising those arms up overhead. Exhale, folding. This time, try it with straighter legs, as we've done some asanas now, so we should be a little bit more warmed up. Placing your hands on the mat, coming up into a halfway lift, stepping back into the high plank, lowering down through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhaling through to up dog or cobra, exhaling through to downward dog. And now we're going to come into our seated position. So just step, lift up your left leg behind you, step it in between your hands, and then take your right foot behind the left. Just come down into a nice seated position. I'm just going to do a little twist here, around to the other side. And then we're going to come and do a little forward bend. So get the flesh up from underneath your sit bones. Inhale, creating length in the spine. Flex the toes back towards you. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead, and then exhale, just fold forward, and fold forward with the chest. Okay. And this stops us from rounding our back and dumping into it too much. So you might be in a relatively still upright position, that's fine. You can also walk your hands down the side of your legs. You can also use straps in this position too. And this is also one where you really want to engage your quadriceps, as it tells the hamstrings that they're safe to stretch and release. So inhale, creating that length. Exhale, see if you can go into your fold. Inhale, creating length. Exhale, see if you can go into your fold. Closing down the outer eye, taking the attention inwards. And then inhale, slowly come up. And then recline so that we are lying on our mat. So we're going to do a supine twist. So if you want to bring your knees up so they're at a 90-degree angle, then drop your knees over to the right hand side. You can take your left arm out so it's in like a T position. And then you can actually also look towards that left hand. So yeah, gentle supine twist here. And then inhale, lift your knees back up, bring them through to center. And then exhale, drop those knees over to the left hand side. Right arm comes out into a capital T position. And you can look towards that right hand as well. You can even have your left hand on like the outside of your top knee. Inhaling your knees back up. And then coming into our final pose, Shavasana. So if you want to do any other final postures before you head up into Shavasana, please do them now. But if not, just go ahead and make your way into Shavasana. So feet are kind of like mat distance apart. Arms out the side of the body, palms facing up towards the sky. If you're having any lower back issues and your lower back's uncomfortable, you can always bring the soles of your feet up so that they're grounded on your mat, and then bring the knees in towards each other, and that will automatically kind of push your lower back down towards the earth. Shut down the outer eyes. And notice the sensations that you notice. How do you feel compared to when you first stepped on your mat? Have you lost any tension? Have you gained any tension? Just noticing, without judgment, what comes up. And staying here for as long as possible. Once you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, just make sure you roll over onto your right hand side or left hand side, whichever is more comfortable, and just lay there for a couple moments before coming up into your seated position. Namaste all, thank you for joining me for today's Capricorn lunar flow in the lovely Welsh woods, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.